It is a well-established fact that our communication extends beyond mere words. Whenever we interact with others, it is not limited to what we say. Our bodies also convey a distinct language. We all naturally pick up on these forms of communication. In this lesson, we will distinguish among the different verbal and nonverbal cues in communication. I am Ma'am Honey, and welcome to this another learning session in oral communication in context. Verbal cues are the use of words employed through spoken language that elicit a response from the listener. Conversing with others is a daily part of life, and using verbal cues assists people in communicating effectively. There are two main types of verbal cues. These are the direct and indirect cues. Direct cues get straight to the point, while the indirect cues may be unclear and often vague. Direct cues lay out explicitly what the speaker is requesting, while indirect cues are like hints. For example, in the statement, "I want you to wash the car," this request is straightforward. It clearly lays out the desired action. In the next statement, "You need to demonstrate better customer service," this cue doesn't explain what a customer service should look like. Nonverbal communication uses multiple channels of communication, including your entire body, facial expressions, and tone of voice. It can only occur when all the parties in the conversation can see each other. Nonverbal communication is a little harder to decode than verbal communication. You have to pay attention to many factors, including the speaker's body language, facial expressions, and tone to decode what the other person is trying to convey. Just as verbal language is broken up into various categories, there are also different types of nonverbal cues. As we learn about each type, keep in mind that nonverbal behaviors often work in concert with each other, combining to repeat, modify, or contradict the verbal message being sent. Kinesics explores how our physical actions and movements convey messages, emotions, and attitudes. It recognizes that our bodies are constantly communicating, even when we are not consciously aware of it. Kinesics can be further classified into gesture, hand movement and posture, eye contact, and facial expression. Body language, such as posture, hand gestures, and facial expressions, plays a crucial role in conveying message and enhancing or contradicting verbal communication. An example of kinesics is when an employee straightens up his back whenever his supervisor passes by his workstation. Gestures are nonverbal forms of communication that utilize physical expressions to convey meaning, emotions, and intentions. There are three main types of gestures: adapters, emblems, and illustrators. Adapters are the type of nonverbal gestures that individuals use to satisfy personal needs, manage emotions, or cope with stress. Adapters often occur when a person is feeling anxious, nervous, or uncomfortable and can be helpful in releasing tension. Examples of adapters include actions like playing with hair, biting nails, tapping fingers, or fidgeting with objects. Emblems are gestures that have a specific and widely understood meaning within a particular culture or group. The act of nodding one's head up and down is widely understood as a gesture of agreement. Other emblems include the OK hand gesture, the wave, which means hello or goodbye, and the victory sign. Illustrators are gestures that accompany and enhance verbal communication, helping to emphasize or clarify the spoken message. They are used to illustrate the size, shape, direction, or relationships between objects or ideas. For instance, when describing something as big, a person may spread their arms wide apart to illustrate the size. Facial expressions are highly expressive and serve as powerful tools in nonverbal communication. They can convey emotions, intentions, and social cues. For example, many of the smiles we produce are intended for others and may not necessarily reflect our internal emotional state. Genuine smiles, characterized by the activation of muscles around the eyes, are perceived as more authentic than fake or polite smiles. Posture and personal appearance. There are four general human postures: standing, sitting, squatting, and lying down. Within each of these postures, there are many variations, and when combined with particular gestures or other nonverbal cues, they can express many different meanings. Most of our communication occurs while we are standing or sitting. One interesting standing posture involves putting our hands on our hips and is a nonverbal cue that we use subconsciously to make us look bigger and show assertiveness. In terms of sitting, leaning back shows informality and indifference, while leaning forward shows interest and attentiveness. Eye contact, or oculesics, serves several communicative functions ranging from regulating interaction to monitoring interaction, to conveying information, and to establishing interpersonal connections. Eye contact can also be used to intimidate others. We have social norms about how much eye contact we make with people, and those norms vary depending on the setting and the person. Staring at another person in some contexts could communicate intimidation, while in other contexts, it could communicate flirtation. Haptics is the study of communication through touch. Touch has a powerful impact on human interactions, as it can provide comfort, convey emotions, and establish connections that words alone cannot achieve. Understanding how to use touch appropriately is crucial for effective nonverbal communication. Different types of touch serve specific purposes in interpersonal communication. We have the functional professional, social politic, friendship warmth, and love intimacy types of touches. Hugs also fall under haptics. The different types of hug, such as the crisscross hug, neck waist hug, and golfing hug, and the shake first then tap hug, can happen for different persons depending on closeness and level of intimacy. Proxemics is the exploration of how physical space and distance impact communication. The concept of personal space is crucial in understanding how people communicate and behave. To better understand the role of proxemics in nonverbal communication, it is crucial to explore the different distances of personal space. Edward Twitchell categorized proxemics into four different zones. Understanding these aspects helps us comprehend how spatial factors influence interpersonal interactions and social dynamics. Chronemics is a type of nonverbal communication that focuses on the use of time and communication. It involves understanding how people perceive, structure, and use time during interactions. Firstly, time perception varies across cultures and individuals. Certain cultures place importance on being punctual and perceive time as a limited resource, whereas others adopt a more relaxed approach. Secondly, wait time, or the amount of time individuals are willing to wait for a person or response, varies across cultures. Understanding and adapting to these differences is important for effective cross-cultural communication. Time can be classified into several categories within the realm of chronemics. These classifications include biological, personal, physical, and cultural time. Humans follow a circadian rhythm, which influences our daily activities such as eating, sleeping, and waking. Disruptions to our biological time, such as staying up all night or experiencing jet lag, can negatively affect our physical and mental well-being as well as our communication competence. Paralanguage refers to the vocalized but nonverbal parts of a message. It includes elements such as pitch, volume, rate, vocal quality, and verbal fillers. The pitch of our voice plays a crucial role in communicating meaning, maintaining a smooth conversation, and signaling the level of intensity behind a message. Volume communicates intensity, with a louder voice typically perceived as more intense. Speaking rate influences impressions of emotional state, credibility, and intelligence. Artifacts in the context of nonverbal communication refer to the physical objects or items that individuals use or display to convey messages about their identity, beliefs, values, and affiliations. These can include clothing, accessories, jewelry, hairstyles, and even technology devices. Jewelry can also send messages with varying degrees of direct meaning. A ring on the ring finger of a person's left hand typically indicates that they are married. A thumb ring or a right hand ring on the ring finger doesn't send such a direct message. People also adorn their clothes, body, or belongings with religious or cultural symbols, like a cross to indicate a person's Christian faith, or a rainbow flag to indicate that a person is a gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queer, or an ally to one or more of those groups. To effectively communicate with another person, it is crucial to master both verbal and nonverbal communication. You can master verbal communication by reading about communication techniques, practicing how you speak, and listening to other people. Likewise, you can master nonverbal communication by practicing to use the appropriate facial expressions, body language, and tone when interacting with others. For one to be considered an effective communicator, a person's need to boost his or her verbal expressions with nonverbal ones.